less than 10 minutes left to go here in this one, and well, Biela, they do have a couple of chances now. They don't have to rush this too much. They have 8 minutes to play with. They have no one further down the road that they're also looking to challenge. It is just these two against each other on track.
And by the way, the other battle we were teasing, that battle for 10th place, has a little bit dissipated because Tibe hasn't been able to make any inroads anymore on Matske. Still, that battle is 3.5 seconds apart, so all focus goes on to the battle for 6th place.
This is the crucial point, one of the crucial points in the lap. Getting this run out of La Source, making sure you can nail the power, get the traction down, get the run all the way down in towards Eau Rouge and Radion. A little bit scrappy there for Biela, but let's see if they're able to carry the speed all the way up the hill and make something happen down in towards Lacombe. Gonna get a little bit closer this time around compared to where they previously were. Here comes the weaving from Max Verstappen as he'll look to the inside to try and defend. Can that Lambo go the long way around on the F1 driver? No, he can't. A little bit of a love tap between the two through Lacombe. They're going to be changing lines through Malmedy as Verstappen trying to defend on the inside. He has got it defended for now, but that was the first shot across the bow.
Yeah, and I think they even had a little bit of a touch there through the middle of Lacombe. Henry Kruse trying to do the switcheroos a few times in a row there through Lacombe and Malmedy, but to no avail just, and now the 450 continues to chase the back of the 911. I think this battle will be the grand finale that we have been waiting for.
I think so too. It wasn't for podium positions, but for P6 instead, but we'll take all that we can get. As here comes a big lunge from Biela, cracking open the inside at Lafonia. But Max is able to hold on after the surprise move. There's a cutback looking off the corner though, in towards Stavolo. Biela taking the wide line through, but still can't find any momentum there.
That was a really bad move by Henry Kruse because it left him out for 3 corners in the marbles, and that really did hurt his speed through Club and Stavolo. And look at that, Shane Van Gisbergen already on the stalking point of that Lamborghini, but obviously not making any moves. Does want to disrupt this battle, even though it's one of his teammates fighting for this 6th place.
What a fight it has been. It still remains though. Max Verstappen in the Porsche 24 by Redline 911 ahead of Biela Racing Team Euronics and Hendrik Kruse. 5.5 minutes left to go, just a handful of laps to solve these two drivers' differences, and well, we spent basically the entirety of the last 6 hours of this broadcast just hoping and praying that we'll get ourselves a fantastic battle at the end, and it seems like our patience has been rewarded. Verstappen still ahead on the way down in towards Eau Rouge and Radion, but it seems like that Lambo can just get the run here through that uphill section, just launch off the top of Radion and get a whole bunch of the slipstream on the way down in towards Lacombe. Once again, the weaving down the Kemmel Straight. Kruse not making the move just yet. Verstappen goes to the inside to try and defend. Long way around once again from Biela. They're alongside a little bit more this time around. Oh, they almost make contact, but they still survive.
Both of them extremely deep on the brakes, not leaving any room to the outside of the first right-hander of Lacombe. So both of them pressuring extremely hard for this 6th place. Max Verstappen does want to lose it. Henrik Kruse does want to gain it. Who will come out on top? The defending has been thus far stellar by Max Verstappen. 4 minutes and 12 seconds remain, so 3 laps to go for these two to fight it out.
It's just about the execution now for Biela. They've had a couple of attempts already, well defended by Verstappen, but Verstappen has the handicap of having the older tyres compared to the Lamborghini. It's going to be still a very big struggle in these final laps, but Max has been able to hold on so far. But what else is left there in the tank for Biela Racing Team Euronics? Because twice in a row now, on 2 different laps, they've gone for that same move in towards the Lacombe chicane, as we see Verstappen push a little bit too wide for my liking through curve and Paul Frere. But, you know, is there any other option now for Biela? Is there any other place on circuit where they can potentially pop a move down the inside? We saw a big attempt into Lafania a couple of laps ago. Maybe that's what's required again.
Yeah, Piff Puff, Club, Stop but also don't count the chicane out of this as well, because Cruiser would be able to have a last-ditch moment dive bomb to the inside of Max Verstappen. If everything else fails, this battle will go down to the wire.
It really will. That's what I get. That's what I get the feeling of as they head their way through La Source once again. 3 minutes left to go. This is where the Lamborghini has been so strong. Coming up towards Eau Rouge and Radion, you can see the Porsche just pull away a little bit, but you can see this sequence of corners right here is where the Lambo just really grips up with the fresher tyres. Not as good of a run off the top of Radion this time around, though, for Cruz. The Porsche will still have to potentially defend here down in towards the Lecombe chicane, as here comes Wheeler, almost getting crowded out onto the grass. Again, outside line. Third time in a row for Wheeler, third time a failure.
Oh, he looked for the dive bomb into Malmedy. Hendrik Kruse getting a tiny little bit desperate for the 6th place.
Yeah, it is. It's getting very, very exciting indeed. As people are saying Max is a very, very hard driver to try and pass, and they would be absolutely right. His defense has been stellar so far in this one. He's been absolutely pitch perfect on the brakes in towards Lecombe. The worst thing he could do when going to the inside there is just outbrake himself and then allow Wheeler to be able to nip their way through on the inside. So he's just been placing his car in all the right places at the moment, but it only requires a little bit more commitment from Wheeler, I get the feeling, and they potentially might be able to make it a more prolonged side-by-side battle between the two of them. And we haven't seen any moves coming down into the bus stop just yet either.
Yeah, and by the way, Cruiser will also not have any pressure from behind anymore, because SVG took himself out of the contention of doing anything for Max Verstappen, as he did inquire a slowdown penalty atop the hill of Radillon.
Look at this run, though, from Wheeler in towards Blanchimont. He can follow so closely through there. The dirty air isn't too much of a worry. This might be a move on down into towards the bus stop now, as Wheeler look to the inside. They're not going to commit on the brakes into there, though, as we'll tick below a minute left to go here in the Spa 24-hour. They're just pushing the Porsche through the bus stop there. Is that Wheeler Lambo? As close as you like, but this is potentially the final lap for these guys. We will have to double check that, because it all depends on where Maximilian Benecke comes across the line to win this race. But this certainly is not over between these two, because they've been giving us a stellar battle in the dying moments. Through Eau Rouge, through Radion. This might be one last opportunity for Wheeler Racing Team Euronics. But it depends on where the leader is when that clock hits 0. Here comes the run, though. This is a pretty good one. I think this is the best run that they've ever had. Coming down in towards Lecombe. They're almost level here. Maybe half a car length to the advantage of Verstappen. And he keeps himself ahead again. This guy's impossible to pass if you're in that Wheeler Lambo. But is there now an opportunity coming up towards Bruxelles? We'll just have to have a look. As no, Wheeler will stay in line. They look to the inside. By the way, here comes BMW Team Redline Red. They are the kings of Spa. They win in the BMW. Maximilian Benecke brings that car home for BMW Team Redline Red. But we've got to have a look to see what the situation is here for P6, because Wheeler, they're not going to be done with this one just yet. They still potentially might have more opportunities to be able to get past. I'm thinking maybe Lafania, maybe into the bus stop. That will be the last-ditch effort for them. But it's such a tough pass to make, especially when you have a driver of the caliber of Verstappen that is the target of your pass attempts. But now in towards the Verstappen. Oh, look to the inside there from the Lamborghini. Let's ride on board with them now for the final sector. Can Cruiser do anything about Verstappen? Can he launch that Lambo up into P6? He's going to have a very good run with the draft here in towards Blanchimont. It might have to be a last-ditch effort into the bus stop, though. Move at Blanchimont. Cruiser has to lift out. That's not gonna bode well for the run down into the bus stop. Is he gonna send it on the brakes into here? He thinks about it. He thinks about it, but it's simply not enough. Different lines coming into the bus stop, but in the end, Max Verstappen holds on in a fantastic battle for P6 at the end of the 24 hours of Spa.
What a defensive drive from Max Verstappen. Didn't think he is going to stand too much of a chance with those worn tires that he had to use for this last stint. But stellar defensive chalk, not giving Hendrik Kruse anything to play for, and comes away with an incredible 6th place.